No matter who or what, you are welcome here. Let's be clear. Here we welcome goblins and ghouls, saints and sinners, angels and devils, zombies and werewolves, vampires and witches. We welcome princesses and princes, paupers and farmhands, aliens and astronauts, robots and cyborgs, firefighters and police officers, nurses and doctors, cowboys, cowgirls, and cowfolk of all varieties. We welcome Superman, Wonder Woman, Black Panther, Batman, Spider-Man, Black Widow, and Thor. Indeed, we welcome both superheroes and superstars. In short, we welcome people, monsters, and all other manner of creatures. Here, we welcome you and all of who and what you are. Welcome. Let us begin with a chalice lighting. Estella will read while is Jaden here? Not seen Jaden. Okay. Estella will read and light the chalice.
Once upon a midnight dreary, while I pondered, weak and weary, over many a quaint and curious volume of forgotten lore, while I nodded, nearly napping, suddenly there came a tapping, as of someone gently rapping at my chamber door. "'Tis some visitor," I muttered, tapping at my chamber door. Only this, and nothing more.
And Micah will give us a glimpse into his interesting childhood with his story called A Silver Space Potato.
Good morning. About 45 years ago, my best friend and I decided in early September that we wanted to build a two-person Halloween costume. We thought it would be fun and would impress the girls, which we had decided to go trick-or-treating with. I mean, what girl wouldn't be impressed with two funny but handsome guys who had the ability to create something fantastic? Needless to say, we were neither artistically skillful nor graceful in our understanding of teamwork or scheduling, planning, or what girls would find impressive. We were both optimistic and naive. We decided we wanted to build a dragon or a monster or something equally awe-inspiring. And so we gathered our supplies before by asking my mother, what would we need and where would we go to do the building? My mother was an artist and handed us a bag of paper mache, some chicken wire, and a couple of large Tupperware bowls to mix everything in, and said, head up to the attic, which was our playroom when we were younger. Needless to say, we made a huge mess. With our creative juices flowing, we started by forming the body of with 4 armholes and 2 eye slits and a big opening in the bottom when we wrapped the chicken wire with newspaper, and then poured the paper mache mixture on the body and ourselves and the floor, which we realized wasn't the best way to do it. And called down to my mom, who told us the right way, by dipping individual pieces of paper into the paper mache mixture and then applying it to the chicken wire to build up the surface. After about 4 hours, we had the main body of our costume, which was pretty badly crafted, but we said to ourselves it would be okay once we painted it. We came back the next day and painted the body silver, and after making another mess, left it to dry. We still had a week until Halloween, which was plenty of time for adding additional parts like the head, the tail, the wings, and whatever else we wanted to do. Best laid plans, right? Wrong. I had forgotten that we had homework, we had track practice, we had bar mitzvah lessons, we had my best friend's clarinet lessons, and the list went on and on. Unable to stop the flow of time, Halloween arrived. Brandy and I looked at the paper mache costume that we had created and decided, let's roll with it. We were going to go as a 4-legged, 4-armed silver potato, which we put on, and after bending the chicken wire so that it wasn't poking us in every location possible, tried to walk in a straight line, which proved difficult because I couldn't see it all and Brandy couldn't see out but one eye slit at a time. But we rolled with it. I wish I had a picture of the expressions on the faces of our friends when we showed up at our meeting place. Well, what do you think, they said. Holding back laughter, they said, "You look like a potato." We tried trick-or-treating wearing our alien space potato and realized very quickly that we had miscalculated both the amount of time it would take to go from one house to another and the fact that our candy haul was being halved because of our kind, candy-giving neighbors were only giving out one piece for our costume as opposed to seeing us as two individual people. Not to mention the girls were embarrassed to be seen with us. Still, it was a happy but ridiculous Halloween.
And the picture that was shown up there was not of Micah and his friend Brandy. That was just an AI-generated image to get as close as I possibly could, because I really want to see a picture of Micah and his friend in the space potato. Please stand if you're able and willing, and join me in singing "Spirit Says Do." And we're going to sing this a cappella. So please sing out loud. Thank you. Are you ready? All right. Step back a little bit. You gotta do when the Spirit says do. You gotta do when the Spirit says do. When the Spirit says do, you gotta do, oh Lord. You gotta do when the Spirit says do. 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 You gotta laugh when the Spirit says laugh. You gotta laugh when the Spirit says Testing. All right, kiddios. I have a story for you today. If you want to come up closer, you can. But we're not going to leave after the story. We're going to go back to our seats. Come on. Are you ready? Well, I was walking in the night, and I saw nothing scary, for I've never been afraid of anything. Not very. Then I was deep within the woods when suddenly I spied them. I saw a pair of pale green pants with nobody inside them. I wasn't scared, but yet I stopped. What could those pants be there for? What could a pair of pants at night be standing in the air for? And then they moved. Those empty pants, they kind of started jumping, and then my heart, I must admit, it kind of started thumping. So I got out. I got out fast as I could go, sir. I wasn't scared, but pants like that, I did not care for, no, sir. After that, a week went by. Then one dark night in Greenwich, I had to do an errand there and fetch some Greenwich spinach. Well, I had fetched the spinach. I was starting back through town when those pants raced round a corner and they almost knocked me down. I lost my Greenwich spinach. But I didn't even care. I ran for home. Believe me, I had really had a scare. Now, bicycles were never made for pale green pants to ride them, especially spooky pale green pants with nobody inside them. And the next night, I was fishing for doubt trout on River River when those pants came rowing toward me. Well, I started in to shiver. And by now, I was so frightened that I'll tell you, but I hate to, I screamed and rowed away and lost my hook and line and bait, too. If you saw pants like that, would they make you a little nervous? I ran and found a brickle bush. I hid myself away. I got brickles in my breeches, but I stayed there anyway. I stayed all night, the next night too. I'd be there still, no doubt, but I had to do an errand. So the next night, I went out. I had to do an errand, had to pick a peck of snide in a dark and gloomy snide field that was almost 9 miles wide. I said, I do not fear those pants with nobody inside them. I said and said those words. I said them, but I lied them. Then I reached inside a snide bush, and the next thing that I knew, I felt my hand touch someone, and I bet that you know who. And there I was, caught in the snide, and in that dreadful place, those spooky, empty pants and I were standing face to face. I yelled for help. I screamed, I shrieked, I howled, I yelled, I cried, oh, save me from these pale green pants with nobody inside. But then a strange thing happened. Why, those pants began to cry. Those pants began to tremble. They were just as scared as I. I had never heard such whimpering, and I began to see that I was just as strange to them as they were strange to me. I put my arm around their waist and sat right down beside them. I calmed them down. Poor empty pants. with nobody inside them. And now we meet quite often, those empty pants and I, and we never shake or tremble. We both smile and we say, hi. So there was nothing really to be scared of once you got to know the pale green pants. I don't know. Do you think that you would be nervous, though, if you saw something like that? Yeah? But maybe after some time and you get, maybe you meet the pale green pants and they're nice. Maybe there's nothing to be nervous. I see that you're a princess. I still think it would be strange to see pale green pants. Okay, friends, you can go back to your seats now. Okay, it is now time for our offering. If someone can pass around the basket. I'm not sure actually. Aha, thank you. And join me in singing From You I Receive, and we will sing it twice. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and by this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and by this we live. Thank you all for your generosity. Instead of having our normal joys and concerns at this time, we are going to do something fun. When you came in, you may have seen a basket that had flames and pencils in it. And let's see, if you have a concern, you can write down your concern on that flame. If you have not gotten a piece of paper and a pencil yet, you can go get one. If you would like a younger person to run and grab one for you, I'm sure that they would be happy to do that too. So take a moment to think about something that causes you concern. If nothing is concerning you at the time, I am very happy for you. But if you have something, just write it down on a piece of paper, and once you have written it down, come forward and toss it into our magical cauldron. And we will symbolically burn your concern. Oh, you do not need to put your names on them. We'll pause just for about a minute or two until everybody is done.
thank you, everybody, for participating. I'm Robin Hanson. Thought I'd just give you a little bit of background, what Halloween is, why we celebrate it, and kind of some of the things that we do on Halloween, and also why we even have Halloween and where it came from. So we call the holiday Halloween, but you know, it's a holiday that is observed throughout the world, especially in the Northern Hemisphere, around this time of the year. And it goes by different names also, such as All Saints' Day, Day of the Dead, Gaijatara, Walpurgis Night, Ghost Festival, which is also known as Chinese Halloween, and Wag Festival, which actually goes all the way back to the First Kingdom in ancient Egypt. So it's something that we have been doing for thousands of years. And it's really something pretty unique that ties us, not just to each other, but also to the world that we live in. Now, for a lot of people, Halloween means something different from what we normally see here in the United States. These people, pagans, view Halloween as a sacred time, a time when they think about loved ones who have passed away, and about how seasons change, and that you can't continue to grow. Your harvest ends when the colder months come in. Now, here in the United States, Halloween is also known as Samhain. It's also known as Samhain in England and in Scotland and in Ireland. Okay? It always happens on October 31st. It used to be a 3-day holiday. That would be even greater. Can you imagine having 3 days when you didn't have to go to school and you could just run around in costumes and eat food and try to scare people? That'd be a lot of fun. But it's been shrunk down to just 1 year, or 1 year. There's a Freudian slip. 1 day out of the month, and only at night. And we do it at night because for people who who celebrate Halloween as Samhain, it's that time where when you're alive and everyth's all exciting and you're doing stuff, but then you're also thinking about those people who have passed. And so on Halloween night, on Samhain, the veil, that little divide between the living and the dead is very, very thin. And so there's the belief that that's when ghosts and goblins and all those scary things can come into the living world. And so that's why we have to, and sometimes we wear costumes so that the bad guys can't find us and they can't see us. It's also why we have pumpkins, jack-o'-lanterns, and why we carve them and put faces on them, and then we put a candle inside because we're trying to scare away the bad guys, okay? So that's why when you see a jack-o'-lantern out there, or you see a pumpkin all decorated, it's so that those people can feel safe. And because Samhain is about the end of harvest, the end of summer, there's also something very important about it, and that is food. We're going to enjoy what we've gotten from the harvest. That may be why there's always candy associated with Halloween. How many of us like candy? Oh yeah, candy's a good thing. Can't go wrong with candy. And so where we used to have harvests, we used to have big community feasts, it kind of slid into, let's just give kids candy. Now, as an adult who has enjoyed those many nights of lots of candy, I'm like, why can't we as adults get the candy too? Why, when we grow up, we're not supposed to go trick or treat anymore? Guys, you think adults should get to go trick or treat too? Hey, I like the way this is going. Thank you. I appreciate it. Say that again? How can we go trick-or-treating? Oh, yeah, I like that. I like that idea a lot. But now, who's going to believe us as teenagers? We'd have to put a lot of makeup on, wouldn't we?
Masks.
Masks, yeah. Oh, there's a teenager behind me now. She's just 12. Yeah, I believe that. Okay? So now, when I was a kid, you know, before I grew up and got old, became an adult and couldn't do trick-or-treating anymore, I didn't know anything about Samhain. All I knew was I loved Halloween. I loved being able to get up, dressed up in a costume. I loved being able to go get candy. People would just give me candy everywhere I went. I thought that was the greatest thing on earth, because you can't go wrong with candy. Halloween was probably my second favorite holiday. What do you guys think was my first favorite holiday? You like July? You must like fireworks. That's it. How many of y'all like Christmas? Me, I'm with you. I liked Christmas because why? Presents, you betcha. I get presents on Christmas and I get candy at Halloween. Can't go wrong with that, can we? Yep. Did you say candy? Oh yeah, okay, candy. Okay. So, trick or treat now has changed a lot over the years since I was a little kid. We started it out, we'd go to a local farm, we'd pick out our pumpkin, we'd go home, we'd clean all the seeds out of it, we'd carve the little face on it, then we'd put the candle in. And every night, just as it was getting dark, I got to go out with my grandmother and light the candle. You know, because, you know, you had to keep the scary people away with it being Halloween. Okay? Now, that was an important thing for me because that told me Halloween wasn't very far away. And when I was a kid, we could go house to house safely. We didn't have to worry about any ghouls or goblins getting us at night. And so we'd go house to house. But what was really cool was we would sit there and, you know, you couldn't go out until it was dark. So as soon as you got home from school, you could get into your costume and run around the house in your costume. But you couldn't go outside. You had to wait. How many of you little ones like to wait? Yeah, you do? Wow, I'm impressed. Even as an adult, I don't like to wait. Okay? Okay, I like that too. One of the things too is you had to eat dinner before you could go out trick or treat. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm gonna eat a lot of candy tonight. I really don't need to wait for dinner. Let me just go get my candy. No. Had to wait. And worst of all, you had to wait till it got dark. So you're sitting there in your costume, you're sitting there waiting and waiting and waiting for it to get dark. And then finally, the lights would come on outside and it'd be like, time to go. Now, here's the good thing about that. We all knew which house to go to. Kids would talk. As soon as Halloween was coming around, we were like, okay, we know that the house down on that far corner, or the second house down from the corner, that's where they gave out full-size candy bars. Yeah. On the whole block? Okay, I was like, I'm going there this year if they're giving out the whole block. Wow, it has definitely changed since I was a kid. And hey, how many of y'all remember those popcorn balls we did get at Halloween? I was gonna say, I don't know why grown-ups back then thought we all liked popcorn balls. You guys like popcorn? I like popcorn too, but I don't want popcorn balls at Halloween. I can get popcorn anytime. Okay? So, and you never went to a house where the light was not on. Okay? Because that meant they did not want to give you any candy. So that brings us to one other little aspect about Halloween when I was a kid. Remember, it's called trick or treat? So we always knew the people who were the grumpy old people, the ones that we didn't like, that never turned their light on for us at Halloween. So there's something that we carried, okay, I was a little bit older now too. We carried something with us when we went out to go trick-or-treating. What do you guys think that might have been? Who? Oh, no. Well, silly string is a much nicer way to do it today. We carried shaving cream. Oh, it gets better. We carried eggs too. Oh, it's trick or treat. All right, that was a little bit more than what we did. But yeah, if you didn't want to participate, if you didn't want to give kids candy, we played a trick on you. Now, but we were good little kids too, kind of. You only threw the eggs or put the shaving cream on the door. You didn't do it on the windows or anything. You didn't want to break anything. You didn't want to hurt anything. But you were going to let them know. Next year, when Halloween came around, you needed to pay better attention to us kids. Isn't that right? We should always pay attention to the little ones, shouldn't we? But you know what? Today, if we do it, we do silly string. We don't do anything. Okay? Just want to put that out there. All right, all I can say, we had a lot of fun. And I do hate to admit that I miss it sometimes, but now that I'm a grown-up, whenever I want some candy, I just go to the store and buy some. It's not quite, I mean, so the thrill of it's gone. The fun and the excitement of it's gone. But in my ideas about Halloween have actually kind of grown, evolved as I've grown up. And now I think more about the holiday as Samhain and the old traditions and the spiritual aspect of the holiday. You know, candy's still important, but I'm more aware of the world around me, of how we are all connected, how we're so dependent upon the earth and all she has to share with us, and that we should be thankful, not just one day out of the year, but the whole year. I'm also more aware of the beauty in each of the passing seasons and of the years that have added to my experiences and my understanding. I'm also thankful for the family and friends that I have to share the food with that Mother Earth has provided us. Now, instead of going trick-or-treating, I'll still get dressed up in costumes sometimes. I'll give out candy instead of receive the candy. Then later on in the evening, sit sipping some hot chocolate by a bonfire, thinking of those who have passed and just enjoying being around my friends. So just remember this Halloween, or Samhain, however you look at it, to have a lot of fun, be careful, and remember that Halloween can be a special sacred time for some people. Oh, and when you go out trick-or-treating, save me a piece of candy, okay? Thank you.
Thinking of candy, I think adults do need candy. I think that's important. So children, would you come up and help me give the other adults some candy? Take a bucket, and you can go around and give the adult a piece or two or three of candy. Youth are children too, so you guys can come up and help too. And don't worry, there will be candy left over. There should be. There's about 150 pieces in the buckets or more. There are more buckets of candy to pick up and pass out. Thank you, Jaden. Oh, I too am an adult. Thank you. Oh, it's okay. We came close. Thank you. All right, once you've handed out the candy, just bring your jack-o'-lanterns back up here to the, to the carpet. Adults, if you still need more candy, just raise your hand, because we have candy bringers. Or say trick or treat. Oh, I see that Jake over here in the corner needs some candy. Go give Jake some candy. Oh, and a sloth right over here. Walt needs some candy. Yes. Jules needs some candy. Go give Jules some candy. Hi. How are you, Artemis? It looks like we are just about done handing out candy. Almost. Okay, bring the buckets back up, friends, and set them down. And you can have some candy after the service at our reception, I promise. There's still plenty. Oh, thank you. Okay. Good job, friends. Now, as Robin said, Samhain, also known as Halloween, it is one of my favorite holidays, indeed. I love the costumes. I love the parties, trick-or-treating, reading spooky stories, watching scary movies, going to the pumpkin patch, carving pumpkins, decorating the haunted woods in years past, and I love haunted houses. Who here came to the haunted house the other night? Thinking of haunted houses, Cynthia did an incredible job this year. Thank you, Cynthia. Mostly Cynthia, and thank you everybody else that helped Cynthia. And we made $884, which is really good. Yeah, okay. Halloween is all about the fun of being just a little bit scared. Just a little bit. It's a celebration of the spooky, the weird, the candy, and the costumes. And what a celebration it is. We need to remember, though, that our celebration is a privilege. And with privilege comes responsibility. As we dress up in our finery, our feathers, our jewels, and have a nice hot and healthy meal before heading out the door to collect buckets of yumminess, we cannot forget that for millions of people, hunger is a daily reality. It is scary to be hungry. There is nothing fun about it. In our own communities, there are families who struggle to put food on the table, relying on food banks and government assistance just to survive. Healthy food is a fundamental human right, and it is our responsibility to work towards a world where no one goes to bed hungry. This means supporting local initiatives and organizations that provide nutritious food to those in need, like the Silverbacks organization that Eldon will tell you about now with Mom Jabel.
Good morning. The Nature Savers class, or the upper elementary school class, is currently battling the hunger horcrux, one of 7 harms to humanity that we will be learning about and taking on this year.
Last month you helped us battle the illiteracy horcrux. With our book collection, thank you so much for your generosity and support.
We are currently holding a food drive to support Silverbacks, a local organization that assists those in need in our community with food and other supplies.
Our food drive is called It's Scary to Be Hungry, and we are gathering water bottles and granola bars now through November 5th.
Our class is also excited to be able to help Silverbacks in person on November 12th by preparing sandwiches and assisting as needed before and during their Sunday food serving.
We have been learning about the effect it has on our community and are excited to protect in this service learning project. Please contact Jabel or Erin if you have any questions.
Thank you.
And now, boys and girls, children and youth, if you would like to take the wagon, Cynthia, is there a wagon? Oh, the wagon is back by the RE table, and go around and trick or treat to all of the adults here. They have good foods for you. They may have brought some from home. There also might be some underneath each and every chair here. So everybody can donate to the food drive. There are water bottles and granola bars underneath every chair. Stella, Neve, Morgan, you guys want to help? It is like an Easter egg hunt. It's a Halloween hunt. And if you brought food too, thank you so much for donating. It looks like most of it's gone. It's been collected. Oh, we have some more. Here comes more. Good job, guys. Thank you, everybody. And Cynthia has some announcements for you.
Oh, it's been a long weekend. You may have noticed the youth kind of are a little slow. That's because they were very busy. Before we go into thanks mode, I would like to let you know that Mindy Bacchus and Lauren Christ are facing medical difficulties, so if you'd keep them in your thoughts and in your hearts at this time. Wow. I'm still tired. Anybody else tired from the haunted house? Yeah? Erin said it was all me, and it was not. It was those people, and those people, and that person. Oh, I can't enumerate all of them. So I'm just going to focus on the youth. And I'll do a letter from the editor and talk about all the wonderful adults who helped us as well. But the haunted house could not have happened without the youth. Thanks to Estella for designing the poster and chalice painting. The chalice painting was postponed because of the rain, but it's coming in spring. And for showing up even when she faced 8 to 10 hour days on vacation. These were vacation days that she did that. In the house, she was a mad scientist, a witch, a disembodied arm. Ask her which one was most effective. Thanks to Teddy, who frosted the vast majority of cakes and decorated a good number, and helped the rest of the frosters by insisting they use knives or spatulas without serrated edges to frost. I didn't even know that, so that was helpful. The cakes were beautiful. In the house, Teddy directed exiting traffic and gave other actors breaks. Thanks to Morgan for making it to multiple work days, ironically most of the time as the only youth, and for really having a vision. Her costume, makeup, and setup were to die for. The best Mad Hatter ever. She even stapled black plastic, and that's going above and beyond. Thanks to Ashley for frosting and decorating not their first, but first 2 cakes, remembering their mother's example and following Teddy's advice. I also give Ashley kudos for understanding that their amazing costume might have to accommodate people with strobe sensitivity. I mean, I had to look away. I couldn't look at it. A lot of people complimented Ashley's costume and performance. It was incredible. Thanks to Jaden for being our super creepy clown. He even got me once as I turned the corner. And thanks for working on the path with Joe while others were frosting, decorating, and delivering flyers. Thanks to Evie for pitching in on every job offered, setting up frosting, decorating, ad distribution, etc., and acting in the house last year as well as this year. Evie's one of our movie night attendees whose folks are not UUFT members, but the family attended the house this year with their youngest daughter. Thanks to Mikey, whose folks are also not UUFT, but has also worked the house 2 years running. Thanks to Ren for work on the Wayside sign, for enthusiasm and commitment, even though a family tragedy occurred. And thanks to Neve, who has worked setting up the house and acted in it for the last 2 years, for her vision, generosity, and never-ending aid. Without our youth, the haunted house would not have happened. Give them a pat on the back, or better yet, a kind word at the reception to follow. And hopefully, we'll have pictures from the haunted house on the screen during the reception. Thank you all for everything. One more? Oh, okay. Where is it? We got lost. I'm frequently lost. If you know me, circles are my thing. After Neve extinguishes the chalice, Neve, you're going to extinguish you're going to read the last stanza of the Raven. It's right here. Okay, that's fine. You want me to do it? Oh, I'm dim. Okay.
After she reads, you're all invited to a coffee, cocoa, and cookie reception.
She didn't finish what she was saying. I'm gonna try to do what I was gonna do, but she doesn't like finishing at work, apparently. Silly. And the raven never flitting, still is sitting, on the plaited bust of the palace just above my chamber door, and his eyes have all the seeming of a demon's that is dreaming, and the lamp lights over him streaming throws his shadow on the floor. My soul from out that shadow that lies floating on the floor shall be lifted nevermore.